want to discuss about. Now you have dealt with the notification part of it. Also remember, one of the notification you have to provide, it's the benefits. And basically these are paid leave benefits. So let's talk about the paid leave benefits. So there are many, which are, some are old, which employees can use for COVID reasons, and some are new. And we will go through one by one, at least some basic details, so you have a little information, I think, to explore more about these benefits. So the first one is the California paid family leave. As you know, it's mostly used by people when they have a new child born and they are going through that bonding phase. But can also be used for if the employee is caring for a family member who have serious illness. And when we talk about serious illness, so COVID-19 is also one of the disease which have, I think, consequences and serious consequences. People are dying. We already have more than 250,000 people died. So this is serious illness. If they are dealing with that, they can use the paid family leave. And as you know, paid family leave, it's a state paid program. The employee provide through their deductions towards that program. And at least the employee needs to have like $300 worth of payroll before getting advantage of this leave. And it's for 8 weeks from July 1st, 2020. And as you know, in terms of payment, how much an employee can get, it's 60 to 70% of their wages, depending on their income. And it has its own range from $50 to $1,300 per week. So this is one of the leave, which is not new, but still employee can utilize it if they want to get help. And you need to provide it. Means you cannot retaliate employees if they use it. So the another one is it's the paid sick leave. It's also your old paid sick leave, those 3 days or 24-hour ones. So these are also can be used for COVID reasons, and especially if the employee have any existing health condition or if they are assisting a family member, so they can use this leave. And this leave, as you know, how it occurs, it's usually 1 hour for every 30 hours worked. So, but you can also provide your employees, because some of the employer provide more than 3 days in a year. So if you have more than that, then you will follow your employer policy. So again, you have to understand these leaves are in addition to any federal leaves. So we will also look new leaves which are provided through federal law. And also if you're talking about FMLA, which is another federal leave. So in addition to that, these leaves can be taken. So what would be the payment if an employee exercises a paid sick leave? So it would be obviously your regular rate or any average rate for preceding 90 days of your employment. So the next leave, which is the FFCRA, which is the First Family Cares Act, and this is an emergency leave which the legislature have to just come up because of the COVID situation. So this emergency leave provides some criterion about who will be able to qualify to get this leave. So this leave is in addition to all the other leaves which we have just talked about. So obviously, if an employee I think, got COVID-19, that employee can use this leave. Or if the employee need to, based on the state order or their local municipality order, they need to self-quarantine themselves, so they can use this leave. Another situation is about if they are experiencing symptoms about COVID-19, that would be another situation. Or if you are caring about some other family member who have COVID-19 situation or who are self-quarantine. In situation of self-quarantine, you can understand probably you're dealing with some older family member who cannot take care of themselves. So in that situation, even an employee can use this emergency paid leave. And also another, I think, situation would be if you are caring about your child, and especially if means a few of the daycares, they are closed, or they are open for very few hours. So if you want to care for those kids, and also if their school is closed, in that situation also you can I think allow your employee to utilize this paid sick leave. So there is another, I think, benefit which would be kind of maybe vague on terms of understanding, but still, so if a person is experiencing similar situation uh, related to COVID, if you can understand there is a COVID-19, a person is living at a place where there are other people, roommates living there, and if you have a situation where the person, it's difficult for them to go to work, or if they are caring for some other friend they are living with from last 20 years, so they can make a case about that they are caring for kind of a family member, but still means it doesn't come under. So this is catch-all situation where an employee can present a situation to you where it sounds similar to situations we have talked about in the above sections. So that's a catch-all kind of a situation. So if you come across that, and I think you should just talk with your employee and see if you can come to some resolution about that. So in terms of which employers are covered, so employers above 50 employees, obviously you have to provide that. But the employers who are below 50 employees, so those employer can claim an exemption, because those employers, obviously they don't have that much resources, and especially if you're talking about a retail store which only have like 2-3 employees, they cannot I think have a resource to provide like a 14 days of leave. So they can claim an exemption on that. And in terms of the amount, if you are dealing with a full-time employee, because we are talking about a 2-week leave, because a COVID-19 period, even if you are talking about self-quarantine, it's about 14 days. So an 80 hours if it's a full-time employee, or if it's a part-time employee, then you just average out and see the past 2-week time frame, and then you just provide that much leave to the employee. So if you are talking about the wage payments, so it would be the higher rate or the minimum wage, at least if you are dealing with minimum wage employees, and there are range of it. Either it's minimum 511 per day, or at total it can be 5,110 in total. So that would be the cap on this leave amounts. So in terms of caring for family, it reduces little, because if the employee is caring for themselves, it's little higher, and if they are caring for a family member, now it's 2/3 of their regular rate. And so the availability of this leave, it's from April 1st, 2020 to December 31st, 2020. So it's almost there. But I think expect that it will be extended, because obviously we are also dealing with another situation of elections and probably a new administration. So it seems that it would probably get extended, but still at present it's the deadline, it's the last date is December 31st, 2020 for this benefit. So till that point, again, we would be going through December month, and it would be colder, and there would be a lot of, I think, infections. So you have to just, I think, keep, I think, open, even I think for the employees, the benefit for this leave. So next, it's a supplemental leave. It's a state leave, COVID-19 supplemental paid sick leave. It's again, it's an additional leave in addition to the paid sick leave we have talked about, provided by state or provided by feds. So in this situation, also the same thing. If you have one of the employee unable to work because of contracting COVID-19, and or they have to follow a self quarantine order in that situation. And also, I think this leave, as it was brought to first care about the food sector employees. So people who are working, either you're talking about grocery stores, restaurants, or any person who are working in a food sector supply chain. So that was the main initial purpose of bringing this paid sick leave, to help out those set of employees. But later it was open for all other employees. So mainly this supplemental paid sick leave is for bigger employers. That's their main purpose. If you're talking about Walmart, or even I think a few of the attendees work with the HR departments at big employers who have 500 or more employees. So we are not talking about those small employer mom and pop shops. So the employees which are covered, as I mentioned, so it's more related to the food supply chain. So any employee which is virtually touching the food, it's covered by this leave. And it's so this law was enacted in April 16, 2020. And again, the deadline is on December 31st, 2020. And I expect, again, with this situation, that it will be extended, but let's see what will happen with that. So the examples of the employee, as you can see, it also include farm workers, grocery workers, or basically any person who is kind of touching food is covered under this leave. So this leave, after September 19, 2020, it was open to all the other non-food sector employee. So if you're talking any other employee who is working in the field, they would be covered with this if your employer have 500 or more employees. So in terms of amount, it's again that same as we have looked with the previous leave. It's 80 hours for full-time workers. And part-time, it's different calculation with the part-time. It's 14 times the average number of hours they worked each day over 6 months period. And in a situation, if you don't have an employee who works 6 months, then you just count that much time frame to just average out those number of hours, and then you just multiply that with 14. And if we talk about the wage payment, it's again similar with the other leaves. It's the highest of the regular rate, and there is a range for that, how much would be the maximum of it. So the last leave I want to talk about, it's again a federal leave, an emergency paid family and medical leave. It's similar to the California family paid leave, but it's again brought in because of COVID. And in that situation, we are dealing with, if you are caring for your kids who have this school closed, and also their daycares are unavailable, or you have similar situation like that. So with the exemptions, the 50 employer who have 50 and less employees, again, they can claim an exemption similar to we have seen the other federal leave. Because as you know, means these smaller employers, they don't have resources. So they can claim exemption based on obviously their financial hardship. Sorry. So the period of leave, this one is 12 weeks period. But the another important thing with this leave, it's not an additional leave. So you cannot add it. If you have already took it within 12 months time frame, you cannot like add it again, because few of the employers would be thinking, okay, means there are so many leaves, so probably uh, means few of the unwanted employee would try to take advantage of it and then like stack up. They can stack up few of the leaves if you are talking about the California leaves, but this leave they cannot stack it up, because this leave it's specifically if you have used FMLA, which is another medical leave which is provided by the federal law, which is pre-COVID. So you cannot, I think, use that. Or even if the employer in their employer policy have a provision that you need to concurrently use other leaves like your vacation pay, your paid paid medical leave. In that situation, they cannot like add it so that they can just stack up and try to unfairly take advantage of it. So because of that, law has that provision in place. So in terms of wage payments, obviously it's caring for other people. As we have seen in previous leaves, it's 2/3 of your regular rate instead of the full rate you would be able to get. So in terms of availability, again, it's similar to other leaves. It's ending on December 31st. And with probably a new administration, it may get extended. And as negotiations are going on, even in Congress about a new stimulus bill, probably it may extend it. Let's see. So these were all the leaves and notification requirements. And again, thank you to all the attendees and EAC for giving this opportunity. So now I like to, for Katie or Lourdes, if they can, I think, bring those questions in.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Those.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, that was so much information.
Yes.
So the first, excuse me, question I have is regarding FFCRA paid leave. And it says, does FFCRA paid leave get paid by the employer or the federal government?
So it's paid by the employer.
Okay.
Yes. And also, I think one of the things which you, and also ultimately government also, they are human beings. So I think one benefit they have provided, if you can give those, you can get a tax credit on that. So I think once you are filing your 2020 taxes, just talk with your accountant and try to get those credits, because you are paying for that leave and also your financial situation is not good. So you should just take those tax credits.
Excellent. Next question is, what is going to be the best method of giving employees written notice in your opinion? Do they need to be individual, or can a posting in a highly visible area be sufficient?
So I think to just be on, I think, cautious side, because the law mentions that you need to provide notice to each and every employee. So I think it would be good if you can just send maybe an email blast, because usually mode of communication is email or the text message. So I think if you can send an email blast to all the employees that we have a COVID-19 case, and pursuant to AB 685, we are notifying you about that. And these are the benefits you can able to explore.
Okay, Steve, did that answer your question fully?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Great, great. Okay, I had a question from Lourdes as well, and Lourdes had to run to a staff meeting, so Steve and I are here for everyone. Lourdes, does notice only need to go to those who may have possible exposure, or all employees?
To all employees.
Okay.
Basically, you are notifying them that that we have this situation, because it's kind of I think you need to tell all the people that we have this situation in place, so you better take care of yourself, because that's probably also, if you see, as moral thing to do, because if you see a situation in your workplace, I think it would be also good to notify all, and as the law provides the same thing.
Thank you. Jim has a question related to enhanced unemployment in case it returns. And Jim, are you okay if I open up your sound and then you can just go ahead and ask that question? Kind of putting you on the spot, but we're a pretty small group. Oh, it's down below. Yes, okay, go ahead, Jim.
Hi, can everybody hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
welcome.
Thank you. A situation came up with our agency. We have weekly work, but we also have a lot of daily workers that are project-based. And one of the perceptions they had during enhanced unemployment, and I'm curious about it in case it returns, is they had their regular unemployment benefit, and then they had their extra enhanced benefit just to the end of July, I believe. They were under the understanding, and I cannot never find information from the EDD or anybody else to refute this or confirm it, that if they happen to earn more wages in a given week than their regular benefit, they would not only have that, reallocated to their total benefit, they would lose the extra pandemic benefit of $600 a week and never get that back. So literally, there was a disincentive to take any work, because it was, if I can't make $700 a week guaranteed, there's no point in me working at all. And I was curious about that.
Okay, I think this question is more, it's related to unemployment.
Yeah.
I think, so in terms of unemployment, because I don't practice that, I think, but still the knowledge I have about that, the additional benefit, you still get those additional benefit regardless of what pay you have. Because now I think it's 300. The presidential, I think, executive order mentioned about 400 if the state can provide additional $100, but many states are not providing it because they don't have it. So it's now, I think, 300 plus whatever, I think, based on your pay, the usual unemployment benefit which you would be getting. So it would be plus that and that $300, I think, at present.
So if their regular benefit was $167 and they earned $180, they may not get the $167, but they still get the $300.
No, I think they would, because if they are qualified on that, obviously they will get the minimum 167 plus they would get that $300. So it would be 467. That's the minimum.
That they would get.
And I think you're talking about the pandemic unemployment insurance, which is usually for the independent contractor. I think, is that you're talking about?
Well, yeah, well, to the extent that it's offset, to the extent that their earned income in a given week offsets the unemployment benefit,
Because as much as
how much that would affect them.
As much as I know, 167 is the minimum they will get. And the EDD then will make the calculation based on the records they have, or they will ask the employee how much you were paid until this point, and they will recalculate, and it will go up from 167, but minimum is 167 based on the PUA program.
Okay, so maybe they were under the wrong perception that if they earn more than their minimum, they would lose the entire pandemic benefit. That was kind of the perception that was out there. So a lot of them just sat out and didn't work.
Yeah, probably. But there is a whole lot of, I think, because the problem is that the EDD is their phone lines are jammed. Means and we have this certain time frame, so people don't get the info. That's the problem, I think.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And Sarah from EDD did put something in the Q&A section, and she said that during the time of the extra 600, they had to have earned at least $1. So if they earned more than 25% of their WBA, they wouldn't qualify that week. So I don't know if that is helpful.
So they would lose. So then they in fact would lose the additional pandemic benefit along with their regular, right? So, I mean, that's based on what you just stated. It seems like they would lose it.
And maybe I can connect you with Sarah to clarify too. I know
That'd be
we got a little
That'd
off
be
topic for harpreet there, but maybe I can connect you, Jim, with Sarah to clarify. But yeah, she said, so if they earned more than 25% of their WBA, they wouldn't qualify that week.
Oh, okay, perfect. Great. It'd be great to connect
Okay.
with her. Thank you.
Great. So yeah, Jim, go ahead and reach out to me. I'll stick my information in the chat. Steve already did. And then thank you. So that answers all of our questions that I saw for today. And I'm actually going to let Steve close us.
Perfect. Well, thank you everybody for attending. Harpreet, thank you so much for, it was a lot of information to give in a short period of time. So very, very well done. Thank you. You know, as we mentioned before, this is an entity that hasn't been in the Central Valley or in Stanislaus County for a number of years. So really we're in the stages of getting going, and really what we want is to engage with everybody on this call and other local business leaders to see how we can be most valuable to you. So I know Katie, myself, we've both put our contact information out there. Harpreet is on this the screen right now. If you have any suggestions on other topics that you'd like to discuss, please let us know. We're more than happy to do our best to accommodate those. And really what we want to do is try to make topics as timely as possible for you. So this is obviously one topic that's on everybody's front of mind right now. So we really hope to engage with all of you further down the road. You may hear from us just to gather feedback on how things went on this and where we're going to be proactive in asking for further topics. So please keep an eye out for communication from us on that, and reach out to us if you have any questions or anything we can do. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you all very much. Have a great Friday and a good weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.